Tonight's story is a quiet journey through warm landscapes, gentle moments, and soft, wandering thoughts. There is nothing you must remember and nothing you must do. Just listen, breathe, and let yourself unwind as the world of this story unfolds. This is Episode 1, a soothing tale of evening travel and simple comfort, a story called The Road to Waverly Grove. There is a road at the quiet edge of the countryside where time seems to loosen, just slightly, as if the land itself encourages a slower pace. People who travel that road often say that the air feels different there, softer, somehow, as though it carries a memory of all the peaceful moments that have ever drifted across its fields. On a warm, late summer evening, a traveler named Corin arrives at the beginning of that road. They come on foot, their small canvas bag slung over one shoulder. The sky is painted in soft shades of apricot and lavender, the sun resting just above the horizon like a thoughtful ember. The wooden sign beside the road reads, Waverly Grove, 8 miles. The letters are hand-carved and worn smooth by years of weather, giving the sign a look of patient familiarity. Corin studies it for a long moment, breathing in the scent of warm earth and fading sunlight. They don't know exactly what waits for them in Waverly Grove, only that something in the name, or perhaps the road itself, feels like a promise of rest. They step forward. Gravel crunches beneath their boots in a soft, rhythmic pattern. The air feels warm against their skin. The evening holds the easy stillness that comes just before the first stars appear. The first mile, the golden grasses. The road begins between 2 long stretches of tall amber grass. Each blade moves with the lightest breeze, rising and falling in slow waves. Corin watches the grasses ripple like a silent ocean, the motion steady enough to calm the breath. Even the insects seem to understand the softness of the place. The crickets chirp, but gently, as though they are humming rather than calling. A few grasshoppers leap lazily across the road, their movements unhurried. Corin slows, letting their steps fall into the rhythm of the land. They glance upward. High, thin clouds drift across the sky in delicate streaks. A single bird glides overhead, wings outstretched, moving in such a smooth arc that it seems almost unreal, a perfect curve drawn across the last light of the day. Somewhere in the distance, a farmhouse windmill turns slowly, creaking faintly. The sound is soft enough to blend into the evening, becoming part of the background rather than a distraction. Corin breathes in deeply, breathes out slowly, feels the day settle, a silent companion. As Corin continues along the road, a small shape emerges from the tall grasses. A ginger cat, its fur brushed with hints of gold from the fading sunlight. The cat pauses, looks up at Corin without fear, and then begins walking alongside them with deliberate, unhurried steps. Corin smiles softly. The cat makes no sound. Its presence is simple, quiet, and comforting. For nearly half a mile, the cat pads along the road beside them, occasionally glancing up as if making sure Corin hasn't disappeared. Eventually, when the grasses begin to thin, the cat stops, sits, and flicks its tail gently. Corin pauses too. "Thank you," they whisper, even though the cat simply watches with a slow blink. Then the small creature turns back into the grasses, disappearing as peacefully as it arrived. The maple row? The second mile begins with a shift in the air, a little cooler, a little more shaded. A row of old, towering maples lines the right side of the road, their branches arching overhead like a series of natural gateways. The leaves rustle softly, creating a sound almost like ocean waves sliding across a shore. Beneath the largest maple is a bench. It's not new. The wood is worn smooth by time and by the countless travelers who must have rested there. A thin layer of moss grows along one leg, and the bench tilts ever so slightly, as though it has leaned into the companionship of the tree. Corin sits. Their body relaxes almost instantly. The air under the maple feels cooler. scented with a faint hint of sap and old leaves. A soft breeze rises, brushing against Corin's face and carrying away the warmth clinging to their skin. For a moment they close their eyes and simply listen, to the leaves whispering above, to the insects humming in the distance, to the faint creak of branches shifting as the evening settles deeper. When Corin opens their eyes again, the sky has changed. The colors have deepened, purples richer, the gold fading into soft twilight. A few early stars shimmer faintly, like distant lanterns on the edge of waking. Corin continues down the road. The wooden bridge, the sound of water reaches them before the creek comes into view, a gentle trickling, steady and soothing. The road dips slightly, then crosses a narrow wooden bridge. The planks are smooth and faded, with lines worn by wheels, hooves, and footsteps from years past. Corin stops at the center of the bridge. Beneath them, water glides over smooth stones, catching the dimming light in ripples of silver. Small eddies form, turning lazily before drifting onward. A pale leaf floats by, its movement slow, as if it has nowhere it needs to be. The air above the creek is cooler, carrying the scent of fresh water and damp earth. Corin rests their hands on the railing, feeling the faint warmth left by the day still lingering in the wood. They breathe with the sound of the creek, letting the rhythm soften their thoughts. A subtle awareness settles deep in their chest. Something peaceful, something right. The road is leading them exactly where they need to be. Lanterns of the path. Beyond the bridge, the trees thicken into a mixed grove, birch, oak, and aspen, their leaves brushing together in hushed conversation. As the light dims, small lanterns begin to appear along the road, hanging from simple wooden posts. Each lantern glows with a soft, honey-colored light. They're spaced far enough apart to allow the night its space, yet close enough to guide any traveler gently onward. The cutouts in the lanterns cast delicate patterns across the ground, circles, leaves, slow-moving twirls that shift with the flicker of the flame. Corin passes one lantern after another, feeling the warmth slowly melt the last tension from their shoulders. A small wooden sign beneath the third lantern reads, "Travelers welcome. Rest ahead." It makes Corin smile. The message feels familiar, comforting, like a memory they don't actually remember. The descent into the valley. The road begins a gradual descent, winding between the trees until it opens suddenly into a wide, serene valley. Corin stops. Below, nestled among gentle hills and soft shadows, lies Waverly Grove. It isn't large. In fact, it looks more like a cluster of cottages than a village. Warm light glows in every window. Soft curls of smoke rise from a few chimneys. Trees with drooping branches sway slightly, their leaves brushing like hands through the air. The pond at the center of the grove reflects everything, the lights, the sky, the silhouettes of cottages, in shimmering, silky movements. The sight fills Corin's chest with a calm that feels almost physical, as though a soft hand has wrapped around their rib cage and eased the breath inside. Slowly, they walk down into the valley, entering the grove. As Corin approaches, the sounds of the grove reveal themselves, faint, gentle, and impossibly peaceful. A doorway closing with a soft click, crickets singing from the grasses near the pond. The distant hum of evening conversation drifting from one of the cottages, a kettle whistling low, nearly done but not urgent. Stone paths weave between the cottages, soft lanterns hang from low branches, lighting the way with their warm glow. A wooden arch stands at the entrance, carved with tiny shapes, leaves, stars, a winding river. Corin walks under it. The air feels slightly cooler here, carrying the fragrance of herbs, rosemary, lavender, a hint of mint. The smell seems to gather around them gently, settling like a soothing balm. To the left stands a cottage with a sign swinging above its door, the Waverly Rest House. Corin feels drawn to it immediately, as though the building itself recognized them the moment they arrived. Inside the rest house, the door is slightly ajar. Warm light spills into the evening. Corin steps inside. The room is dim, lit mostly by a small fire crackling in the hearth. Its glow fills the space with soft, shifting gold. The floorboards are dark and smooth, the walls lined with shelves holding books, jars, and a few potted herbs. Near the fire sits a table with a steaming pot of chamomile tea. Several ceramic mugs are arranged beside it, each one handmade, each one a unique swirl of gentle colors. An older woman appears from the back room. Her hair is silver and loosely braided. Her movements are slow, careful, and entirely relaxed. She smiles. "You must be tired," she says, not as a question, but as a gentle acknowledgement. "Would you like some tea?" Corin nods. She pours a mug, her hand steady and practiced, as though she's poured this very cup for countless travelers before. "There's a room upstairs," she says softly. "It's been waiting for someone." Her words are not poetic, yet they settle into Corin with the warmth of something meant. The room overlooking the pond. The staircase creaks softly as Corin climbs. The upstairs hallway smells of old wood and faint lavender. The woman guides them to a small door, opens it with a gentle motion, and steps aside. The room is simple and perfect. A soft bed rests beneath a window. A thick quilt, hand-stitched with leafy patterns, lies folded neatly at the foot. A lantern on the bedside table flickers behind frosted glass, its flame calm and steady. Corin sets their bag on a chair and walks to the window. The view is peaceful beyond words. The pond reflects the warm cottage lights. A single duck glides across the water, leaving soft ripples behind. Fireflies drift lazily through the air. Even the trees seem to move slower here, as if the whole grove inhales and exhales in a gentle, unhurried rhythm. Corin takes a sip of the chamomile tea. It's warm, floral, the kind of tea that quiets the mind without asking. They sit on the edge of the bed, the mattress sinking slightly under their weight. The quilt feels warm even before they unfold it, the kind of warmth that hints at sunlight still lingering in the fibers. The woman's voice drifts softly from the hallway. "Rest well." Corin nods, though she is already gone, settling in. Corin sets the mug down on the windowsill and lets their fingers rest on the wooden frame. The room's quiet hum wraps around them like a blanket. A soft breeze slips through the slightly open window. It carries the scent of evening blossoms, something sweet, something clean. It brushes across Corin's face, inviting them to lie down. They do. The quilt is soft and heavy in a comforting way. The pillow cradles their head gently, as if shaped by many peaceful nights. Outside, a firefly drifts past the window. It glows, dims, glows again, slowly, steadily, peacefully. Corin's breaths fall into the same rhythm. The last thoughts before sleep, their body relaxes, their mind quiets. The warmth of the bed settles around them like a hush. The grove holds its peaceful silence, the kind that makes the world feel safe, small, and gentle. Corin feels sleep approaching like a soft wave, rising slowly, steadily, covering the thoughts of the day, smoothing everything into calm. Their last waking thought is simple and warm. I am exactly where I need to be. And with that, under the soft light of Waverly Grove, the quiet breath of the countryside, and the lingering scent of lavender on the air, Corin drifts into deep, restful sleep. Thank you for spending this quiet time with me. Slow down, drift off, dream on. Good night.